this is the story of, I don't know, it's a nightmare day in the airport, I guess. And so I flew in from Detroit to LA, and on that plane I lost my wallet, but I didn't know at the time. So I go to the lounge, just hang out. I have an hour layover between that flight and the next one, and I'm just about to head to the next flight, and I realize, oh no, I don't have my wallet. So I'm like, okay. So I start going back to the other gate where I came from Detroit. And then I was like, nah, you know what? Forget it. I'm just gonna go to the flight and I'll figure it out. So I start going back the other direction to the new gate, and then by the time I get there, then the gate agent was not even there anymore. Like, they just closed the gate already. And usually you have to board like 15 minutes before the flight. I literally got there exactly at 15 minutes, but for some reason they just closed it early. So I was like, oh crap, I don't have my wallet, I don't have my flight anymore. So first thing I do is I try to rebook the flight. That was okay, I called them up and they spent maybe like 5-10 minutes or something, got me on the next one, which was 6 hours later, so I had to burn 6 hours. And I was like, okay, well, now that I have time, then I may as well just try to figure out with the whole wallet situation. So I go downstairs to the baggage claim, and I'm talking to them, and he's like, well, you have to fill a form out. And I'm like, well, I mean, I'm gonna be here, so I mean, if you could find it, then could you let me know? And so he's like, okay, let me just call the gate. He calls the gate, and it's not there. And then he's like, well, did you actually leave it on the plane, or did you drop it somewhere in the airport? And I said, I'm pretty sure it's in my seat. And so he calls the cleaning crew. Cleaning crew was like, oh yeah, actually we did find something. And then so I was like, okay, that's excited, I can finally move on. And then they had to figure out, I don't know why, but they had to figure out like who actually had it. So I just sat there for 45 minutes, just kind of burning time, waiting for them to figure that out. And then they finally found it. So I'm like, okay, great. And he's like, okay, so they're gonna meet you at gate whatever 37B or something. And then when I'm there, or when I'm trying to go back into to the secure area, usually I'm like, okay, I have clear plus pre-check and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, you don't even need an ID. But then I just happen to be, actually I'm kind of selective for random ID checks quite a lot. But today was just the perfect timing. So they wouldn't let me in. And then nobody knew what to do. I had to go back and forth between the pre-check line plus clear to clear without pre-check, and then that guy says, no, I can't do that, but they could do that with a pre-check one, which doesn't make any sense. So I was like, okay, I'll go back. So I go back to the pre-check non-clear line, and they're like, no, we can't do this. You have to go through the regular one without any pre-check, or without clear. I'm like, okay, let's try this one more time. So I try it. I go up to the guy, and I'm like, okay, they're telling me all you have to do is just ask a few questions to validate my identity, and I should be good to go. He's like, okay, well, hold on, and talks to the supervisor. Supervisor's like, oh, actually, you can't go there. You're gonna have to get somebody like a gate agent or something, or the check-in agent or something to get it for you. And I'm like, okay. So I mean, by now I'm like sweating because I'm just walking like crazy, and then I head back downstairs, and I actually just happened to run into that same baggage claim guy who was helping me out anyway. So then he saw me. He was like, oh, what are you doing here? And I was like, they wouldn't let me in. And I explained the whole story to him. He's like, okay, fine. Let me go get it for you. And that was pretty much the end of my drama for the day. But it was quite an adventure getting from Detroit to here in San Jose.
Even though you had to tell this story twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you so much for sharing out a new video.
Cool. Yeah. Have any like social media for people to follow, but I'm Tim from Michigan.